In the NFC North frozen fray, where tempests rage and banners sway, gather round for who will be king. Our FFSN roundup, fierce and fling. With pay for the Bears' bitter lament and Foster's Lions' triumphant bent. Dave from Vikings' purple plight. We clash neath the northern light. Bears crushed 52-21. Lions roar with Goff's fierce run. Packers grind to 2-0 gold. Vikings sink and Falcons hold. Injuries howl like winter gales. Week 3 calls with thunderous tales. Bears versus Cowboys. Lions at Ravens Gate. Who'll claim the crown? Who'll tempt fate? Let the battles begin. Hey, everybody, it's Dave here from Vikings First and SKOL, and I'd like to introduce my partners in this endeavor to talk the NFC North and, of course, smack about the Green Bay Packers. On the far left is Pay from the frustrated Chicago Bears, or Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Are you frustrated today, Pay?
Way past frustrated, Dave. I wish I was just frustrated.
Hey, one of the guys said the Cubbies just clinched the playoff spot.
Yeah, we do have a playoff team in Chicago, so I'm a little elated at there. It's been a while since Chicago's had a playoff squad, so it's good.
Well, good.
Until we get to Sunday.
In the middle, we have Foster from Bleachers to Speakers, Motown's king of football. How you doing, Foster? Did you like that win on Sunday?
I loved it. Life would not do it justice. It was a great victory, good turnaround for us.
Well, that's great. Well, why don't we start out with that, Foster? What did you take from week 2's absolute routing of the Bears?
Well, I talked about last week about how the overreactions and how it didn't look great that first week, and there were some adjustments that needed to be made. We needed to have a full-blown 180 turnaround, and that is what we saw. The end result was a 50-point effort from the offense, and eventually we had to call off the Hounds. We got to see Kyle Allen and a host of other guys that we just recently saw in the preseason. So that's always a good sign. Well, it's usually a good sign when you see your backups, unless you're on the other end of that. But the interior offensive line looked way better. They figured out the pass blocking situation. They had a clean pocket for Jared Goff, and he was able to not only be accurate but be able to move the ball down the field. You saw a couple long passes to Jamison Williams. You saw a much better running effort from Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. They both had touchdowns apiece. You saw Amon-Ra St. Brown put on a possession receiver clinic out there. He had 3 red zone touchdowns, and the unsung hero was Brock Wright, who has the most receiving touchdowns from an undrafted tight end, which is kind of an obscure stat, but he did a great job blocking, and he also had a receiving touchdown. So that's the offensive side of things. The defense had its own host of issues in week one, and we fixed some of them. Now the secondary is still in question as far as the cornerbacks are concerned. We got a great game from Brian Branch, who had 6 tackles, 1 sack, had a forced fumble where he just kind of blew up Swift, whatever his first name. Where he blew up Swift and he fumbled the ball. Kirby Joseph had an interception as well. Roma Dunze had himself a game though, and that is what kept them in the game. It kept them in the game early, but eventually we were able to run away with the victory. Keep them. They were running the ball actually pretty decent, but I think that as they got further and further behind, they were not able to lean on that, and it put Caleb Williams in a situation where he was forced to make things happen. Our pass rush had 4 sacks and a host of pressures. So that was something that we didn't see in the previous week. And Al-Qadim Muhammad, it was actually our best defensive lineman. He's ranked, I think, like 6th in the league as far as the win rate, as far as pass rush is concerned. So he's a guy that we picked up halfway through last year as we were dealing with. This is post Hutch, so this is during the Zadarius Smith era. So he showed glimpses of success last year. They decided to bring him back, as well as Marcus Davenport, who did get a sack as well, but he's now dealing with some ailments, and I think they are looking for a second opinion, and it's up in the air. But ankle and a shoulder, not even something that's parallel, or not a knee or a toe injury and an ankle. We're talking about 2 totally ends of the spectrum, and those are both injuries that he is dealing with. So I don't know what to make of that. Hopefully it's nothing. If he misses a game or 2, we'll deal with that. But you got to hold your breath anytime that Marcus Davenport talks about something hurting.
As well we know, but Hutch played a banger of a game. I was impressed with what I saw on that. Now, speaking of impressed, or in this case, not impressed, Pay, what was your view of that absolute rout that your Bears suffered on Sunday?
We don't even need to talk about it. We can just get this show, because I feel like we did this show 8 months ago after the Vikings versus Bears game, when I told you exactly whose fault this is. And in this game, the Bears lost by 31 points. They were down points before the offense even took the field. So there's no need even talking about Caleb today. Instead, we're going to do this thing again. When I tell you, if I try to get the attention of Kevin Warren and the McCaskies and try to alert them that guy in the general manager office is stealing money. He's submitting time reports, but not actually doing his job. This loss and 39 other losses are directly on him and this roster he put together. You got to fire this guy, Ryan Poles. He is awful. 15-38 since he took the job. 15-38. That is a terrible record. And based on how this season's going, it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. And you got this guy, you extended this guy to 2029 for effing what? He's done nothing since he's been here. I'm not mad about Ben Johnson and the job he's done so far. I still got belief in him. I'm not mad at Dennis Allen. I still believe in what they've got going on. It's still early in their tenure for me to decide on if I'm going to be frustrated with them. I still believe in the quarterback more than I don't believe in the quarterback. But this guy Ryan Poles, I'm out on him. I'm squarely out. This is his 4th. He just had his 4th draft. That's 4 times picking in the top 10. He's had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Shout out to LeBron James. Not 5, not 6, 7. 7 second-round picks. Dave, 4 of them are no longer even on the squad. No, 4 of those second-round picks no longer on the squad. We had 3 this past draft. 3 second-round picks. 2 of them didn't even dress. Why are we drafting guys in the second round if they're not even dressing for the game? We have no business drafting guys that can't even suit up, let alone play. Speaking of not playing, he got drafted at Coastal Loveland, Michigan guy. Everyone said, "Oh, he's a banger of a tight end." He's getting 30 snaps. He's getting 30 snaps. He's got 3 targets in 2 games. Why are we drafting a guy at number 10 to not be involved? Do you not think there was some other player that we could use? We're 0-2. You don't even need to answer that question. We're 0-2. There's players that we can use. There's a lot of them we can use. Don't even get me started on that punter we took in the 4th round. You took a punter in the 4th round. He better be like Travis Hunter and play 2 positions. He need to be a safety because God knows we need safety help as well. I'm out, Dave. I'm out on this guy. His guy Ryan Post. He put together a team that is an embarrassment. 5th highest costing defense in the NFL, and they got rung up on Sunday. 52 points. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. I know best defensive player Jaylon Johnson. His season's probably over after he got hurt in that game, and the floodgates opened the second he left. But again, that goes right back to Ryan Post. We don't have a backup plan. Yes, as soon as Jaylon Johnson gets hurt, we bring in a guy who was on a practice squad not too long ago, a practice squad player, and he's getting destroyed by check down guy amon-ra St. Brown. He's getting destroyed by Honey Pack legend Jameson Williams. It's just a terrible confluence of issues going on with the Chicago Bears. And to be honest with you, I have no idea where it's going from here. They tell me it's always darkest before the light. I don't know. It seems pretty dark to me right now.
Well, you're not the only one that believes it. ESPN, I think it was, let's see. ESPN, where's the stuff? I look at this stuff. ESPN Chicago has reacted to the defeat, pointing to roster construction flaws exposed by the Lions' dominance. So, you're not the only one that sees it. If ESPN, which is a mouthpiece of the NFL, sees it,
in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's that. Now, T-Bass, my guy T-Bass, also complains about our GM, and we are 1-1, Minnesota Vikings. Now, we did have that get-right game or the feel-good game against the Chicago Bears, and I have a feeling, Pay, that every team that plays you this season is going to be, oh, yes, we get to play the Chicago Bears.
As of right now, I can't really argue with anybody's feelings about that because we lost to a rookie quarterback who turned around and looked like every bit the rookie quarterback against the Atlanta Falcons. Not saying anything about the Atlanta Falcons. They might have a pretty good defense. We shall find out. I mean, time will tell on that. But
I can tell you, we just played them.
I mean, the last 5 quarters for the Chicago Bears have been god awful. Thank God for the Chicago Cubs.
But speaking of just playing them, let's skip over to my game real quick. The Minnesota Vikings played like absolute dog doo-doo, especially on offense, and lost week 2 to the Atlanta Falcons. It was bad. Absolutely bad. And we talk about that defense. That defense did the best impression of Brian Flores I have ever seen in my life. Urlac, something like that, is their DC. He had people coming from all different directions. And with our second-year quarterback, with only a game under his belt, it was absolutely miserable. Throw in the injuries on the offensive line, and it was just a disaster. And it ended up with J.J. McCarthy suffering a high ankle sprain on a hip drop, like it was tackle, where the defender rolled over his ankle and it bent the wrong way, which happens. That's what causes ankle sprains. So it rolled in a direction it wasn't designed to, but it is what it is. It was a bad, horrible, no good day for the Minnesota Vikings. We lost more players. Our injury total is up to, I think, 11 starters. And we're scratching our heads on what to do. It will lead into week 3, which we hope to semi-recover at least our dignity in the process. But for Minnesota fans, especially mine that are watching, the season is not over yet. There's still 16 games to go. Many of them are winnable, even where we sit right now. So let's hope our coach pulls everything together and we score early and often and play from the lead, which this team is designed around, and recover. Will we see that? I don't know. I know in the Vikings world, it seems the team or the fans are depressed this week. I'm sure it is the same in Chicago. Why? Because we let our emotions be driven by what happens on Sundays. Or when
wait all week for it.
Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. But yes, thank you, Norsefius. Ulbrich. Or however he pronounces it. But it was the Vikings. We played 8 quarters of football. One was decent against you, week 1. And all the rest have been bad. The team rusty. They get hurt. They weren't calloused up. All that sort of stuff. It's KOC's worst performance to date, and he just got an extension along with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. But he should. I mean, coach of the year. I'm not worried about him as much, but it was not the pleasing game that we anticipated. So we're going to head into week 3, and it'll be the battle of the backups, but we'll get to that shortly. But like I said, we are now up to 11 total starters that are injured. Last week, we lost Blake Cashman, Andrew Van Ginkel, Brian Kelly, Aaron Jones. We'll see. And then some ended up on IR. Some are waiting protocol for concussions. We'll see. But it was not good. Now, the other team in the division, which we're now all chasing, and I know we all hate that. What a passion. I'm hearing the professional quarterback ranks top 5 in this, top 6 in that, top 3 in this, top 2 here. It is bad. Packers defeated the Washington Commanders 27-18 on Thursday night. We all were commies, rooting for the commies on Thursday, but it did not go as we'd all expect. Mr. Pink, who I think's Packers fan, says Packers Bills Super Bowl. We'll see. It was not good. It was a nightmare game for the Commanders. It was a nightmare game for all of us that watched in the stupid blizzard warning uniforms that they had in the middle of September. Way to go, Green Bay. But it was a very good game by the Packers. They are now 2-0. And right now, leading the NFC North. Much to our chagrin. They're whining about being penalty plagued. They'll have to fix that if they want to win the Super Bowl. Well, they got to get there first. They were whining that they got too many flags called on them. Hey, it happens. But they are, for the most part, pretty healthy. Any more last words on week 2, or do we want to flush it?
I would love to flush it, but I am so mad you ended that with the Packers because it just makes me remember that they shouldn't be that good. They shouldn't have Micah Parsons. And if they do have Micah Parsons, they should have paid through the nose for him. Thanks a lot, Ryan Poles. If you can get into, I'm sorry to make this bear-centric, Dave, but if Ryan Poles can get into a bidding war for effing Chase Claypool, then you can get into a bidding war to stop Micah Parsons from going to Green Bay. Green Bay couldn't have Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool's not even an NFL player. But you just had to, you just could not let them get Chase Claypool, but you let them get Micah Parsons. I need him to go to Arlington Heights, and I need him to just stay there. Stay away from this team. Ruining my Sundays. Doing this roster.
And supposedly their attitude has changed since they've got Parsons. They now think with Parsons they have everything in place to win the Super Bowl.
I hate them so much.
All three of us do, brother. All three of us do. Now, Foster's the only one that's smiling and having a good week. But with that, it's time to take our break. Whether it's for Garrett's popcorn or for me, a little bit of whiskey. Please listen to our sponsors, and we'll see you on the other side. And that doesn't work. Cool. There we go. And we're back. I know that was quick. Now, are there any other headlines that you guys want to cover over that's happened so far this week before we get into week 3?
I don't think there's any major news other than what we already discussed. Injuries, it's football. Injuries happen, but I don't think there's anything pertinent that it doesn't actually lead into the next week's games.
Gotcha. I see Declan Doyle emphasizes it's a second act that must remain limited, noting Williams missed only 13 snaps in 18 NFL games, highlighting his first Monday Night Football touchdown. So he's healthy. Speaking of your
Caleb,
football.
yes. Caleb's healthy, yes. Yes. All of our injuries on the other side of the ball. Yeah, lost the one that gave up 52 points.
I'm perusing Detroit's headlines. Foster, you got any headlines after the game that you're interested to bring up? Then you're on mute.
No, what was interesting to me was kind of just to see the exchange of obviously the Ben Johnson situation with the defense did a kind of ode to him, but probably at the time I'm sure he hated it, about the fake trip play action. Kirby Joseph was the quarterback and played that out, and it looks like Jared Goff kind of had to chase him down to kind of shake his hand after the game. And, they even asked him, after the game, were they running up the score? Why would they go for the touchdown and the goal line when it was late? And Ben Johnson kind of replied, hey, they don't kick field goals. They don't really kick field goals, which is kind of what, that was kind of him initially. But, he didn't, there's no right or wrong way to answer that. He could say that, yeah, they did try to, or no, they didn't, or whatever. It is what it is. He would have loved to be on the other side of it, so he can't really take exception to it. But yeah, that the main headlines is just the Ben Johnson exchange so far.
Gotcha.
Because Marcus Davenport being hurt is not a major headline. We're not at all shocked about that.
That's just hit repeat every season, no matter if it's the Saints, whether it's us or it's you. Just hit repeat. All right, now it's time to look at week 3. And let's see, who's got the first game on week 3? We'll start with the Green Bay Packers at First Energy Field or Stadium in Cleveland. 1 o'clock on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central. The undefeated Packers look to extend their hot streak against the struggling Browns, mired in QB woes. Green Bay's young wide receiver core could exploit Cleveland's secondary, which ranks near the bottom in pass defense. Now, I was hearing Cleveland's defense was actually pretty decent, especially against the run. How do you see that game playing out?
How do I see it playing out? A third straight dominant win for the Packers is how I see it playing out. How I would like it to play out is Myles Garrett becomes an early favorite for DPOY. That would be amazing. That would make me feel so good. Unfortunately, I have less belief in the Browns than I do in my own football team at present time. So ever since they got rid of Baker, I don't believe the Browns have been good in any conceivable way, even though they made the playoffs, I think, twice since then. I think it was a stroke of luck. But against the Packers, there's no reason to doubt the Packers right now, especially against a team that's mired in confused ideology. And speaking about the Cleveland Browns, I don't think and you're right, Dave, the Browns do have a good defense. They're very good. Problem is, so do the Packers. The Packers defense is pretty suffocating right now, as the Commanders found out. They found out for 60 grueling minutes. Jaden Daniels, everybody's favorite child, he had a rough one. And the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, the
Joe Flacco,
the venerable Joe Flacco, the statue in the pocket, Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's the second quarterback on that depth chart? I know they got a pretty lengthy quarterback room. Who's the second quarterback on the depth chart?
That's healthy.
Gabriel?
Dylan Gabriel?
I think so.
Might be.
He might be getting some snaps come Sunday because they traded Kenny Pickett, right? Yeah, I saw that coming. He might be getting some snaps.
Now, the Browns defense is turnover prone, as in they generate them. So that's the only hope I think we have. But everybody's saying Packers are due to win, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Do you know what the spread is so far with that one?
I did not look.
Let me see. The spread for this game
I'd say you're the one that does the betting.
Yeah, I thought it moved for a time because I know if they're more than a 4-point fave, then this is they're a 7.5 point fave right now. So if you've been paying attention, favorites greater than 4.5 at the beginning so far. The first 2 weeks, they're undefeated, undefeated straight up. So
4.5 that magic number
right now, 4.5.
Damn. The next game in the rotation is the Minnesota Vikings at 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. And we dropped to just only a 3-point favorite, but Minnesota is the favorite by 3 points, i.e. home field advantage, because Joe Burrow went out, as we all heard. He has a severe case of turf toe, I guess where the tendon pulled from the bone, and he has to go surgery and will be out 3 to 4 months. Lucky if he's back at the end of December. So we get Jake Browning. And we were all thinking, oh, cool. That should be a good game. And who goes out on our side but J.J. McCarthy? And now we start the Carson Wentz era. We'll see how that goes. Lots of Minnesota Magic seasons have been on the back of the starter going out early in the season and being replaced by the backup. Whether it be Brett Favre, whether it be Case Keenum, Cunningham, there's just tons. There's a half dozen, and they've all led to NFC Championship games for some weird reason. Now,
let me say this, Dave.
Can't get by that, but that's...
KOC is worth the extension if he can drag whatever out of Carson Wentz, and you all continue to, as you said, have that Minnesota magic with the backup quarterback, because a lot of what them other quarterbacks, they're one thing, and Carson Wentz is a complete another thing.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting. Now, Carson Wentz has a career record of 45, 41, and 1. I didn't realize that. That sounds like Kirk Cousins. We'll see. When we saw when the schedule came out, we saw the hype, and we thought, oh, man, this is going to be great. Burrow and Jamar Chase versus McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. This is going to be a shootout. Who catches the most touchdowns and the most yards? This is going to be great. They still have Jamar Chase, and we still have Justin Jefferson. It's just the quarterbacks have changed, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes to play and who gives up on the season. I don't know. Hopefully we'll come to play, but we'll see. SKOL and roll. Thanks, Minnesota, for fixing the O-line. Running back problems in Dallas. Oh, we'll see. Hey, Lone Wolf. It's a battle of bridge QBs. Yay. We'll see what happens. I think Minnesota will pull this one off with our fans if they're as rowdy, if they get up from this depressing week, because against Atlanta, they shut absolutely Michael Penix down. He could not hear. And you saw him on the field going, I can't hear. And they just get louder. But will they after this depressing week? I have no idea. But that's the noon game that I'll be watching. And believe it or not, it's got Nance and who is it? The CBS number 1 crew, which is another great sign because we are 0 for 7 when they broadcast our games. Then we go to, speaking of number 1 broadcast crews, Sunday afternoon, Soldier Field, 4:25 kickoff Eastern, 3:25 Central. Chicago Bears host the resurgent Dallas Cowboys. Tell us about that, Pay.
Interesting choice of words. Resurgent.
Right.
Resurgent Cowboys.
Well, it's better
The
than
same-
lucky.
Well, yeah, they were lucky not to get beat by cooked and washed Russ
Who
last
threw
week.
for what, 450 yards or some ungodly number?
Yes, that was as I said in the recap of week 2. Thanks Bears for making sure for informing me that I did not waste any money buying Sunday ticket, because if it wasn't for that, I would have to sit through 60 minutes of the Lions dragging your carcass for 60 minutes. Instead of I got to, get a little side-by-side action with the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants. See, that was a pretty fun arcade game to watch, but the Cowboys are now coming to Soldier Field, which from what I'm hearing is going to be a very popular ticket, according to Vivid Seats. You all know Dallas Cowboy fans travel well. In fact, they don't have to travel well. They got fans all over the nation. So it'll be one thing I'll be paying attention to is how much of a home field advantage will the Chicago Bears have, which is a terrible thing to even consider. A terrible thing to even consider because this is Chicago. We don't play that nonsense. But according to Vivid Seats, they say, hey, you might have to share your quarters with some Jerry Jones boys. So that's the first thing
Now,
leading up to this game.
Will Reichert, when we played you, tied the record for field goal length at 57 in Soldier Field. Do you think it's going to be blown out by the Dallas Cowboys kicker this week?
No, they probably won't need a kicker this Sunday. No, they probably won't need one. So, no, I think the record's safe there, Dave.
Okay.
So my optimism level isn't as high as it would usually be going into a game against a team that more than likely isn't going to be a tough team at the end of week 18. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to find themselves playing for any type of playoff position come December. With that said, they still got CeeDee Lamb, top 5 receiver in the game. They still got Dak Prescott, a very expensive quarterback. They still have some game changers. Well,
he's like the Marcus Davenport of QBs.
Really? I can think of maybe one injury. I know he had one.
He's had a few, I thought.
I would think the Cincinnati quarterback is more closer to Marcus Davenport
and better
Mr.
than Dak
Dakota.
Prescott.
That's also true. But stating all this about Dallas Cowboys, they have talent. They are also down talent on the offensive line. Their center, he's on IR now. Deron Bland, he's on IR. They already traded away Michael Parsons. And their defensive coordinator is a familiar face. Matt Eberflus is calling the shots on that defense. No shade to him. He can call a good defense. But everyone in the building at Hallis Hall knows Matt Eberflus's defense intimately. The defensive players know it, and so do the offensive players because they had to, prepare against it. So I did say that I'm not as optimistic as I usually am, Dave, but I am still going to take the Bears to win this game because the Dallas Cowboys are not a team that I think is very tough. Now, the Bears defense has been terrible as well. Especially the last 5 quarters. We've got Jaylon Johnson down for the remainder of the season, probably. The Bears haven't officially announced that because they haven't decided if he's going to have surgery or not. But all intents and purposes, if you tear your groin off the bone, you're probably done. Probably done, right? Highest paid nickel in the game, Kyler Gordon. No end in sight when he'll be ready. TJ Edwards, our best linebacker, he's still out as well. I haven't noticed our highly paid edge, Marquez Sweat. I haven't noticed. Well, I've noticed him. Let me not lie and say I haven't. He hasn't gotten a stat sheet yet. He hasn't done anything to jump off the page. Grady Jackson, Javon Dexter, they're MIA as well. All of that's irrelevant. It's going to be a shootout, Dave, and I got the Bears offense coming out top. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, they showed you something on Sunday. Caleb Williams, for all the trash that the Bears have put up in the first 2 games of the season, the improvements there. You saw what he looked like in the first 2 games of his rookie season against bum teams. Caleb like a bum himself the first 2 games, but against the 14-win Vikings and the 15-win Lions this season, night and day versus compared to those 2 games from last season. The improvements there, shootout coming. Ben Johnson made a career for himself, lighting up Eberflus defense. He's going to light it up again come Sunday. Bears 38, Cowboys 34.
Well, Grok agrees with you. I asked who's going to win the games, and Grok writes Chicago's home field edge and run game, DeAndre Swift, give them the nod. Prediction, Bears 24-20 over the Cowboys. Williams throws for 250-plus yards in a gritty upset.
I don't really trust robots too often, but I like that one.
I like you.
Well, just wait, Foster. We get to your game next. On Monday night, probably one of the best Monday night lineups I've seen in a while. We have Detroit traveling to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore to face the Ravens. Tell us about it.
So I think that the fan base is taking a sigh of relief after the scare and the first week of the season, the questions about the two brand new coordinators, John Morton and Kelvin Shepard. Shepard was able to cook up some nice blitz packages, bring the pressure all day, force a couple turnovers, and John Morton was able to somewhat mirror the success that Ben Johnson had, 511 total yards against Chicago Bears. With that said, we don't have any time to, rest and relax. We're going into a very hostile environment, as you said, on primetime Monday Night Football against a top AFC opponent. The Ravens are coming off a win as well. They lost their first game against the Buffalo Bills, where they gave up a bunch of 394 yards passing to Allen, but they had essentially a bye week the next week going against the Cleveland Browns and their quarterback issues. As far as what it's going to take for the Lions to duplicate I don't want to say duplicate the success. We're not going to score 50 points against the Baltimore Ravens, but in order to win,
how many points did you score last week?
I think it was 50, right?
52.
52. My mistake. I think that for one, we need to control the time of possession. We want to keep Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson off the field. Derrick Henry had a quieter game against the Browns. It was more of the passing attack that was successful, but Lamar Jackson is still showing that MVP caliber quarterback play. So we definitely need to keep him off the field. He's been pretty balanced with his attack, getting passes off to Lively and Zay Flowers and a number of different weapons. Not one main particular guy that we have to key in on, which makes it difficult to say, hey, we just need to eliminate this guy and we'll be good. No, we have to share those responsibilities, which kind of plays into our secondary play. Our best cover corner so far has been our nickel guy, Amik Robertson. DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold, where they have played very well against the run, which we love. We love that physical play and being able to, get your nose dirty against the run. But we've had our problems against the Packers. We had our problems, covering Roma Dunze and DJ Moore as well. So that's something that we still have to focus on. But just keeping the Ravens off the field, because we know with Derrick Henry's bruising attack even late in the games, he's going to wear down the defense. He's going to hold on to the ball, and we want Jared Goff to have as many opportunities to put some points on the board. The one guy that I didn't mention last week was Isaac Tesla. Didn't have many targets, but he did have one big catch, another one-handed catch on the sideline, which led to one of Amon-Ra St. Brown's touchdowns late in the first half, which was kind of the beginning. I feel like that was a pivotal and it kind of turned the tides a little bit in that first half when he made that one-handed catch. I don't know. Eventually, we're going to get him to catch the ball with two hands, and he's going to be able to run, because they've both been on the sideline and highly difficult. So hopefully he can handle that as well. But it's been exciting, and he's continued to duplicate that body control and bring a different element that we haven't really seen in Detroit. But outside of that, just attacking the secondary, the Baltimore Ravens. They had issues last year in the secondary, even with Kyle Hamilton, who is probably top 3, top 2 safeties in the league. They still have some issues with their corners. They did go out and get Jair Alexander. He was inactive in last week's game. He's only played 33 total snaps. Or I think he started the game against the Browns, but in total, he's only played in 33 snaps, and he's still working through the knee contusion that he's dealing with. So there should be some opportunities to attack the secondary. I said that about the Packers, and that did not hold true. So, most importantly, we need to protect Goff as well. We saw what he can do when he had a clean pocket and he had time to move the ball down the field. And the Baltimore Ravens, they're strong. One of their strong points, certainly on the defensive side of things, is that front seven. They've already got 38 pressures combined through just 2 games. So we know how ugly it can get if Jared Goff is under duress. So that's going to be important as well.
Well, you want to know what the robot says?
What does the robot say?
Lions at Ravens. Baltimore's ground attack with Jackson and Derrick Henry overwhelms Detroit's front seven. Prediction: Ravens 28-24, and a late Ravens touchdown seals another classic.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. I think he had 169 yards rushing against the Buffalo Bills. So he not so successful in the Browns game, but something you still have to be weary about. Last time we saw the Ravens, it was not pretty.
Mm-hmm. So,
and yes, you do need to take into account Lamar Jackson's career record against the NFC.
Oh my God!
Very, very, very good.
Foster, where can they find you? And what have you got coming up?
What do we have? Oh, well, I'm back. I'm back home. So, back to work. You'll get another preview individually with me and June before the game on Monday, of course. And you'll get a post-game report. And you can find that over on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Well, Bleachers to Speakers on everywhere.
All right, Pay, what have you got coming up, and where can they find you?
Yeah, we're going to have a celebration video come up for the Chicago Cubs, who clinched the playoff berth today. I'm trying to think back for the last team in Chicago that made the playoffs. It probably was the
Cubbies?
Bulls, and Cubs haven't made the playoffs since 2020. I think, the Bulls made it in 2022. That's right.
Okay.
So yeah, it's long overdue, but we're gonna have that. Going to have that come up on the page, as well as a Bears versus Cowboys preview that will drop everywhere you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, and all the rest. Also available on YouTube, where everything is located. YouTube exclusives and audio only shows as well. You get it all at YouTube. So those are two great ones that are coming up this week. So make sure you do not miss out.
And you got a good crew that works with you. And especially love the shorts that come out. You guys do a great job.
Appreciate it.
Now, where can we find our Green Bay Packers coverage? We don't have one.
I was going to tell you, I walked past a porta potty earlier. I mean,
okay. Did you ask the person in there, will you do a Green Bay Packers podcast? FFSN is looking for somebody to do a podcast. If you're willing to, if you have the setup, willing to talk, willing to get online, get on video, and then come and be with us and take the slings and arrows while you talk your professional quarterback, we're more than welcome to have you. You just got to contact any of us or Jeff Hartman over Fans First Sports Center, and we will get you hooked up. And, of course, if you're looking for Vikings coverage, you're already here. Vikings First and SKOL. Tomorrow on Vikings First and SKOL is going to be a busy day. Dave's got, first off, X's and SKOLs with Luke Braun and Tyler Fornes as they break down the film from last weekend's miserable game. And then I'm going to do a crossover episode with B Dirt of the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to record that right afterwards. It'll come out podcast only. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll have the Real Forno show, followed by Saturday, 2 old bloggers, plus Drew Bunting, as we preview the Vikings versus the Bengals, the battle of the backups. And we'll see how that goes. Yes, Biggs, Packers are looking good. Unfortunately. With that, what do they say in Detroit, Foster? Oh, come on. After that win?
Roar.
If I turn up the volume, it might work. Here we go. Pay. What do they say in Chicago?
Bear down, Dave. Even still, bear down.
The Bears.
And, of course, in Minnesota, we say, SKOL Vikings! And I want to thank everybody for watching and joining us. Have a great week. Stay safe. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a frustrated Chicago sports fans, Bleachers to Speakers, Vikings First and SKOL, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.